Matt Adulting. This is going to be part of a multi-part video that I have no clue when I'm actually going to get to air it, but I can't right now. Because right now, I'm on the job hunt and my boss doesn't know. Certain times in your career, you may end up with things going on at the organization that you're with that you don't agree with, or policies and practices don't align with your thoughts anymore. There can be a lot of things that change in a way that it makes it to where your employer no longer fits with you, which in my opinion is where I am right now. So right now I'm recording this video, and I'm going to record several others as the process moves forward, that I will hopefully be able to put together, and hopefully soon, because I've already got some prospects. I've reached out to some people that may be able to get me linked with other people to be able to move forward with my career. I'll be in the same industry that I'm in, with a different organization and with different responsibilities than I have right now. So I'm going to try and document the process that I'm going through, what I'm feeling as I'm going through this whole thing, and put it all together into one video to hopefully have something really interesting to show. Right now, I am very hopeful on this one prospect where all I did was I called, hey, do you know anybody who is looking for someone with my skill sets? This guy knows what I can do. We have a good working relationship. He said, not only do I know people that need a person like you, but my organization needs a person like you. Now, he's not the boss. He doesn't get to make the final decision, but he's supposed to be talking to his boss to let him know that I even exist, that I would be a good fit for that position, or at least in his opinion. And then his boss is supposed to call me. We're supposed to have a little bit of a phone conversation. If the boss thinks that I am a good fit based on our conversation, that I know what I'm talking about, that I'm passionate about my work, that I am willing to do the job that is asked of me, then it can proceed forward to a more formal interview. From there, if that moves to that point and I do well at that point, then that's probably going to be the job that I take. And actually, I think I would thoroughly enjoy having that position. It's going to be a rather drastic life change for some of what I have going on in my life. Rather drastic change in a lot of respects, but it is a really good path forward for me, or at least I believe, to be able to have a lot of growth in my career. And I actually think that despite a lot of long hours that I will have to put in for it, they'll be enjoyable hours, and my time home and my time with my girls is going to be I have higher quality, and I'll be able to set up things for their future. So this is the end of this section for right now. Hopefully soon I'll be recording another piece and then another piece, and as we go through the entire thing, hopefully it won't be long before I actually get to air this video, and it will be possibly the last video in this truck, because this truck belongs to the company, and I'll have to turn it in if I change jobs. Anyway, that's it for now. Little update for where I'm, hoping to change jobs. So I spoke to this guy on Tuesday of last week, and he told me he was going to talk to his boss about calling me and getting things moving. And by the end of the week, I found out that his boss had a very busy schedule, and was doing a lot of traveling, was working on setting things up with some people, and things really hadn't gotten moving from that front. Now the guy that is my contact has gone on vacation, and I don't know if he's spoken to his boss yet, or if he did. And so now I've got this whole internal thing going on of, well, did he not speak to his boss and I'll just be waiting and everything will be fine? Or did he speak to his boss and his boss went out there looking at me in whatever respects that he could and decided already, even without speaking to me, that he doesn't like me and I'm just not going to hear about it? Or did he speak to his boss, but his boss is busy and eventually he'll call me? So I've already got this internal back and forth going, where I've got a little bit of an attachment to the idea of getting that particular position, and now I'm in limbo with it. At the same time, I'm having a lot of stress at my current job that is feeding towards this feeling that I need to move on. So maybe I'm letting some of the stress from one thing affect the other. I don't know yet, but just a quick update. So on the job front, today's update is that there's not much of an update. The guy that's my contact that I have worked with is still on vacation, and I still haven't heard from the owner, which does lead me to believe that my guy didn't get a chance to talk to him about me and get things set up and moving forward yet. Which means theoretically the boss could call while my phone is set on silent for being with my wife when she's in labor, depending on when all that occurs. So we'll see how it goes, but I am hopeful to be able to hear from him very soon and try and get things moving forward. Continuing on with our story about what's going on with my career, I closed what is probably a really big deal for my current employer. It's one that they've been chasing for a while, and once I got involved, things have started moving forward. And today, we had a meeting with the people who get to make the decisions that are earmarking the money in the budget, and it looks like I've secured for my current employer was going to easily be 10 years or more worth of really profitable contracts. It'll be interesting to see how the boss reacts to this tomorrow when I get to see him, and if any of his attitude towards me currently and my work and my value has changed from one day to the next. I know that he's the one that started the talks with them and moving in that direction, and it's been years, but he got nowhere. And 6 months ago I got involved, and now it's turned into the fact that they are about to cut a PO that will start all this work and get it going for the long haul. So we'll see. On other fronts on this, I was able to speak with the gentleman who is my contact in this other company. He has had a brief conversation with the boss already, but they had a big thing lined up for today where they were going to be covering all the details of what is ongoing from now into the next couple of months, and I was told that my name is one of the things on their list, which means that sometime, even possibly now, the guy that's the owner of that company could be calling me and we'll have our first conversations. I'm hoping really soon that I'm going to have this video actually get put together saying, I've put in my notice with the boss, I have this new job with this company, and then at some point after that, the scenery will change because I'll be doing some work from home, decent amount of work from home, and a decent amount of work on the road. that'll be for future discussions. So anyway, another update in. See you guys. So, it's Thursday. The last time I spoke with my contact about everything for the new job was Monday, and he was supposed to be having a conversation with his boss then. So now there's the thing inside me that's wondering, again, whether I've been written off without being actually given a chance to have the conversation. I'm sure I'm wrong. I'm sure it's just a little bit of an anxiety there, looking at my overall situation and thinking this is the direction that I want to go, and then feeling stuck again. I'm sure that's what it is when I think about it logically, but when I look at it emotionally, it worries me. So hopefully this evening or tomorrow, I'll get that call. And maybe he's not really pushing to get that position filled just yet, because he knows that they're preparing for that show that's coming up, and he knows, at least if my contact told him, that we're about to have a baby, and so I'm going to be not available to be like starting next week or something anyway. So maybe that's what it is, but I'm not sure, and I really wish that I could just have that conversation, get going, and then see where things go from there. So that's today's update. Okay, so another update on the job front that doesn't involve me having the job yet, but there's progress. I spoke to my contact within the company just a little while ago. He has spoken to his boss. They have had the conversation. He's introduced a little bit about me to the boss, and the boss seems interested. However, the boss has said that because they're getting ready for a big trade show, because he has just hired a couple of people for a few territories that they're working, that he was wanting to go ahead and put off the conversation with me for a couple of weeks. And of course my contact told him that we're about to have a baby and that things were going in that direction for us right now, and the boss said, oh, well then it makes sense for us to wait a few weeks to have the conversation anyway, rather than trying to go through all of this and make decisions while they may be about to go into labor or have just come home with a baby or something of that sort. So as of today, baby number 2 still isn't out yet, but it will be happening soon. And now I know for certain I will not be airing this video before baby number 2 is born, but there's pieces. And I'm hoping that at some point within the next couple of weeks, I get that conversation from the boss, and we go through my history, we go through what I am qualified for. He and I just kind of talk about everything, and we'll see how it goes from there. I'm still very hopeful that this position will come through, and that it can start working on some of the things that I need to for building the future for my family. So that's all I've got for today. Hopefully the next update will be coming sooner than later. I'll see ya. So, another update on the job progress. There hasn't really been anything going on with this, because I was told that there was going to be a little bit of a lag time before I got to talk to the boss on this, because he had a lot going on for his obligations. They also knew that we were expecting our second child to come any day, which our second child has come now. And anyway, so I talked to my contact over the weekend, and he had me go ahead and get my resume together and send over to him for him to send up to the bosses and them to have a little bit of discussion on it this week. He says my resume looks good. He's going to send it over to him, and I'm expecting in the next couple of days for that phone call to happen. Okay, so I have more updates on the possible job front. The last several updates have been that I have no update, really. Today, I do have one. A little while ago, I got a call from the president of that new company that I may go work for, and we had ourselves like a 40-minute conversation on the phone. A lot of it was just talking back and forth. He was talking to me about the nature of their business, some of the areas that it may differ from work that I've done before. It had a really good flow to the conversation where we were discussing things that I had done in my work history, but rather than it being, what'd you do this year? Here's my answer. What'd you do now? Well, here's my answer. It was just a conversation, which is a really good format for that type of interview, because even though it was a conversation only, it really was an interview. He was seeing if he was willing to pass me on to the next steps of their process. So what's happening next is he's going to pass my contact information on to one of the other people within their company that controls the region, since I would be working for the regional, not directly for the president, and let me have a conversation with the regional. And we'll see how I and the regional director interact and what he thinks of me, and we'll go from there. One of the interesting things about this discussion was that he told me flat out, I like the way that you sound. I like the way that you speak. You sound knowledgeable. You sound confident in what you're doing, what your capabilities are. You ask good questions about the job position, how it is right now in the area that you'd be working, so that you know the conditions of it. So he was giving me all these compliments of it. He says, but I'm worried about your commute a little bit, and I don't want it to be one of those where you get burned out over some of the driving that you would have to do. And the job involves, some travel to areas that I'd be on the road a decent amount. Not like my entire job would be on the road. Not like I would be doing what I used to do and catch a plane to go to work. That's an entirely different set of stories that I've been meaning to record anyway, because catching planes to go to work was a really interesting time in my life. But anyway, so his only concern that he voiced through the entire thing was that he's worried that I wouldn't necessarily be happy with some of the drive times that I had. And then he followed that up immediately with, but if you're a good fit, I might, be looking into moving around some people's coverage and territory so that we carve out an area for you that's a little bit closer to you and take something from someone else and move some things around and make it all work out because I like you. That's an awesome thing to hear in your first interaction with a possible employer. So, there's the update. Good stuff. Hopefully, soon, I have another update. Okay, so there is another set of updates. Actually, there's multiple updates that have happened just from today, and I haven't had time to record anywhere in between them. But there's more updates on what's going on the job front, and I'm excited. So, I talked to the president of the company the other day. He and I had a good, long conversation. Everything seemed to go well on it. I seemed to get a really good bit of feedback from him in the conversation that seemed like things went well. He referred me via email over to his vice president, who over the weekend scheduled that we would have a conversation this morning, and confirmed the conversation was going to happen. A few minutes after the time we were supposed to be on the phone, I realized that we hadn't set whether he was calling me or I was calling him. Considering it was a few minutes after the time, I went ahead and called him. And he actually said that he realized that that hadn't been set, that he would call me or that I should call him. And he's like, I was just finishing a couple of things up, but let's go ahead and talk. And then he and I talked for an hour and 20 minutes. Didn't feel like an hour and 20 minutes, but it actually was. When I hung up the phone, I was like, wow. And at the end of that conversation, just like with the initial one, I was getting a lot of positive feedback where he was saying that he thoroughly enjoyed the conversation and he understands why the president of the company had enjoyed the conversation that we had before. Both really good signs. And so I talked to my wife. I let her know what was going on. I actually reached out to my men's group and let them know that, hey, I know you guys were thinking of me this morning, and things seem to go well. A little bit after that, I heard from my contact within the company that is the one that kind of hooked me up in this path, and he said, man, you must have done something really well on those conversations, because I've been on the phone with both the president and the vice president with them talking to me about you and talking about how we're going to move some things around within the company to make sure that if we bring this guy on, that it's a comfortable situation for everybody rather than it being a thing where people are stepping on each other's toes and responsibilities. It's like, whoa, okay. So, I was really happy to hear that. And then I got a call from the president of the company again. Hey, I know that you are aware that we're going to be at this show that's a really big convention out west next week. You weren't planning on going, were you? And I told him I would love to go, but the company I work for currently, we don't send anybody to any of those things. He says, well, what if I made it happen? I was like, I mean, I got vacation days. He says, let me get back with you in a little bit. So, okay. I'm like, okay, he may be flying me out to Las Vegas just to come meet with him. That'd be cool. He calls me back a little while later. He says, I've moved some stuff around. I'm going to end up pushing it so that on my flight home at the end of the week, I'm going to lay over in Atlanta. You drive down near Hartsfield. We'll nail out some details later, but you drive down near Hartsfield. We can meet up as long as you can take the time. And I was like, man, I mean, I've got vacation days, I got sick days, I got stuff like that, and I'll take what I need to take. I'll go ahead and put in if you need me to put in for a particular day. He said, pencil in Thursday, don't submit it yet, I'll get back with you. And then he calls me back again a little while later. Hey, yeah, Thursday afternoon, we'll sit down, we'll spend a few hours together, we'll get a bite to eat. Cool. So, I'm going to be putting in a vacation day for that Thursday, and I'm going to see about getting my beard trimmed and my hair did, what little hair I have, and go down there and meet him, and it may very well end up being several of the bosses, and have a conversation. Anyway, good updates today. I hope soon that I put in a few more updates and then this gets to get published. Alright, real quick, this is me freaking killing it. So, I had the meeting with the president and the vice president of that company today. I'm on my way back. If you can't tell, I'm dressed a little nice. It went phenomenal. As far as I can tell, the job is mine. I just need to get an offer letter. And my contact within the company that had hooked me up with everything said that he ended up calling me back and saying that he was told it went really well and that he is being assigned as my trainer. So yeah, they're making the offer and I've got to go through the process of getting everything taken care of with my current employer to get things closed out there and make it to where things are ready to go in the other direction. So, you guys remember how I was looking for another job and hoping everything worked out? Well, it worked out. The interview went great. I got the verbal on the offer. I got a written letter on the offer. I put in my resignation to the company that I've been working for, and they told me to get the hell out of the building. And so I called up my new boss and said, hey, so they want me to go ahead and leave. And he said, well, fine, get on a plane, you're coming to Vegas. So this is where I am now. I'm out in Vegas for a show right now. I'll be out here for the week and learning so much stuff. I've been up for 23 hours so far. Gonna hit the hay, gonna get up in the morning. I got a ton of meetings all day. And my job is gonna be right now to sit there and keep my mouth shut while I learn a whole bunch of stuff. And we'll see how this show goes, but I've started my new career. Alright, so I told you guys that I was starting the new job, that a lot of things were going on and changing for me, and my goodness have they. I am here at ISC West. I have gotten a chance to be able to run around and work for a couple of days. Had a great time, but I mean, look at this. So we're in a massive building here. There's security products everywhere, tons of manufacturers. There's all kinds of really cool stuff, and this is my new job. My new job is to get out there, interact with clients, be able to interact with the dealer networks, interact with the architects, engineers, integrators, all of that, and be able to bring them the technology that's going to be able to help them. So, I've made it. I'm where I belong.